The Interdictor class was first built by the Word of Blake Protectorate after its military had suffered a number of defeats and lost a considerable amount of its warship assets. Utilizing new technologies that had become available, their brilliant engineers used the Achilles assault dropship as the basis for the new design. The ship is created to intercept and capture inbound and outbound vessels, using its superior speed and the threat of its great firepower. The ship also hosts a marine complement to seize and secure captured vessels. Since it premiered, the ship has been deployed to liberated worlds or to assist shadow divisions in their special operations. As of 3076, roughly 30 of the design have been seen in various star systems. The ship had been used to interdict smuggling as well as to make attack runs. A highly notable use of the Interdictor was in the Second Battle of Odyssey, where two of the ships were used in a brief recapture of the ruins of Gabriel by the Word of Blake. These particular ships fought coalition forces and managed to use nuclear weaponry to destroy a sizable chunk of Gabriel before leaving the area. Only one of the interdictors was destroyed in the course of a battle with the Ghost Spears in May 3075. The ship has 3 transportation bays. Cargo Bay 1 is the home of the ship's hangar for 2 small craft, with 2 launch bay doors. In Bay 2 is an infantry bay, where the ship's 36 battle armor enhanced Space Marines are quartered. Bay 3 is the ship's cargo bay. It can store up to 566 tons worth of dry storage and has 2 access doors. The Interdictor class is heavily armed with capital and conventional weaponry. Practical anti-warship armaments include the 2 AR-10 launchers with 6 Killer Whale and 14 Barracuda capital missiles. The ship is also equipped with 2 experimental sub-capital cannons with 40 rounds shared between the guns. The Interdictor also has an array of 9 tube multi-missile launchers guided by Artemis IV fire control systems, including one dedicated to protecting the ship's aft quarter. The ship is also equipped with advanced tech weaponry, including 20 large variable speed pulse lasers backed up by 9 heavy particle projection cannons. As for defense, the ship has been equipped with 9 anti-missile systems in all its weapon arcs. The Word of Blake engineers equipped the ship's main engine to push the ship up to a maximum thrust of 11, with 400 tons of fuel. The ship's hull is protected with 112.5 tons worth of heavy ferroaluminum armor. After the Jihad, many Word of Blake combat units fell into disfavor. Regardless of the effectiveness of the Blake's celestial omnimags, few could envision piloting them, so strong was their connection to the horrors of their Mani Domini Mechwarriors. Other designs, such as the Gallant and the Trajan, carried far less baggage and easily found a place in the hordes of the New Republic and its running dogs. On rare occasions, a Word of Blake design closely associated with the horrors of the Jihad was deemed so vital as to continue its service post-Jihad. The Interdictor-class pocket warship is one such craft. Though outnumbered, the Interdictor was the world's most prolific single-class of frontline assault ship. From its first sighting over Gallery to the final space battle in Terran orbit, the Interdictor was present in every major battle, turning the tide of a fight in the Blake's favor on more than one occasion. Given its impressive track record, it was a natural choice to continue production under the Republic's banner. With warship assets so depleted, pocket warships have become the backbone of Republic defensive fleets, with the upgraded Interdictor serving in a prominent role. Variants: the Interdictor anti-ship. This variant of the Interdictor class is an anti-ship vessel developed in 3075. The design is externally identical to the original one. However, the ship has been given an array of anti-ship weaponry at the cost of its marines, cargo, and missile weaponry. The ship's capital and sub-capital weaponry includes a Killer Whale launcher, 10 rounds, 1 Piranha subcapital missile launcher with 10 missiles, 4 subcapital lasers in each wing, and a pair of medium subcapital cannons with 1 in each wing section. The ship's conventional weaponry includes 10 heavy PPCs, 14 large VSP lasers, and 5 anti-missile systems. The ship's cargo capacity has been reduced to 128 cargo tons, and it only retains enough room to carry a single small craft. The Interdictor SCC. This version of the Interdictor, introduced in 3078, is used extensively by the Republic of a Sphere. After seeing how effective anti-missile systems were, it took its cue from the Federated Sun's erudite refit. The Republic Interdictor removes all its capital missiles in favor of batteries of subcapital cannons. 2 nose-mounted medium SCCs provide the primary offensive punch, while wing-mounted subcapital lasers give a dropship long-distance striking range. The standard weapons load takes advantage of a space freed up by the removal of the capital missiles. All the MML bays are now triple bays with sufficient ammunition for protected engagement. Additional heavy PPCs were placed in the forward wing mounts. The cargo bay was reduced, but the 36 battle-armored Marines now have standard living quarters, allowing for longer deployments. With unchanged armor, the SCC Interdictor is an improvement over the already deadly ship. The Interdictor 3115 refit. This Interdictor variant is based on the Republic of a Sphere model and was developed in 3115. Its armament is the same, but it is equipped with a naval C3 system. Combat tactics. The Interdictor is best described as an Achilles on steroids, a modern reinterpretation of everything the Achilles has taught us. Designed as an interceptor rather than a missile boat like most of the existent pocket warships, the Interdictor is intended to run down enemy units and devastate them with its powerful weapons. Then, the small craft packed with battle-armored Space Marines are ready to board and finish the job. How does the Interdictor do this? Heavy ferroaluminum gives this dropship advanced armor. 9 AMS offer further protection, but only the forward bays are strong enough to offer true defense against capital missiles. Combined with the ACM screen inherent to a dropship, this makes an Interdictor a very tough kill, even for a warship. As one of his smaller pocket warships, the Interdictor makes good use of its erudite hull. While this form does leave exploitable flanks, it also allows a heavy armor and, importantly, the ability to fire all 3 forward arcs at the same target. When facing other large craft, the high thrust rating allows the Interdictor to achieve this concentration of firepower at will. There is an important doctrinal understanding here. Where the spheroid pocket warships are essentially defensive, the Interdictor is clearly intended to operate offensively to achieve its greatest effect. Operating with a starship battle line, this causes problems as the Interdictor suffers in a close escort role. It is very tempting to let the high-speed Interdictor off a leash and get them into dangerous situations. Regarding the 2 initial variants, the second one gives up the infantry bay for more weapons. Both ships are dominated by MMLs, VSP lasers and heavy PPCs. The energy weapons in particular are known for being brutal. The problem is that very little of this has reach. The capital weapons are likewise restricted. The best that can be said of the paired AR-10s is they are nuclear capable. The wing-mounted light subcapital autocannons can be considered afterthoughts when every PPC bay does more damage. The subcapital variant barely keeps its nuclear rating with its downgraded missiles, and the long-range firepower is left down further by the use of light subcapital lasers. These are highly accurate but not really damaging. Admittedly, the wing-mounted medium autocannons do offer some brutal bite, with more accuracy than the conventional weapons. At the end, the capital weapons are functionally but poorly deployed. Wing mounts just make it difficult to use them all the time. The bow missile launchers seem to be there more to carry a nuclear weapon rather than for combat with conventional missiles, and if so, a single light killer whale would have been enough. The conventional weapon loadout of the Interdictor seems to be based around combat at short range, making use of the high thrust to get there. If this is the case, it would have been better to forego token long-range weapons like the light autocannons and lasers and concentrate on the more brutal, larger autocannons. Too many of these weapons feel like they were chosen for the sake of carrying a sub-capital weapon. A better understanding of a ship's role would have solved this problem. This comes back to how a pocket warship should be used. The role of most pocket warships before the Dark Age was fire support. This demands long-range weapons with no great need for high thrust. They complement a warship line. Like most erudite assault ships, the Interdictor is better suited to close the range and fight in a brawl. This will be highly effective against normal dropships and aerospace fighters, but in a warship environment, the Interdictor should really stay back, out of danger. Its armor can only save it for so long against true capital weapons. With the end of a Jihad, the Republic of the Sphere inherited the source of Interdictor production. Not needing the nuclear capability, they rebuilt the nose of the Interdictor into something far more conventionally dangerous. Twin medium subcapital cannon now sit either side of the nose. They offer much needed hitting power to the Interdictor. The marine quarters have been rearranged to save weight and increase habitability. Also, the number of MMLs has been increased. Finally, the Interdictor 3115 refit made a final modification to the 3078 model. The nose FSP lasers were dropped in favor of a naval C3 computer. With no standoff weapons, this Interdictor is almost certainly going to serve as the point unit of the C3 network. This is almost a waste of such a large dropship, but not as bad as using the Taiho in the same role. How to use an Interdictor: charge in, stay mobile, and blast anything in sight. Your armor will keep you safe. How to stop an Interdictor: work hard to keep it away from your large craft. Interdictors eat dropships for breakfast, even other pocket warships. You will need the best part of 18 average inner sphere fighters to drop one. The Interdictor's high thrust makes tactics like tailgating difficult, to say the least. If you know an Interdictor is coming, load any sort of anti-warship missile you can find and try to smash as much armor as you can as quickly as possible. A stripped wing will leave an Interdictor very vulnerable very quickly. If you want to try a warship, use a destroyer to be safe. The problem is, an Interdictor is worth a lot less than a destroyer, though any destroyer is far more flexible as a platform than the essentially one-trick Interdictor. A Naga is roughly comparable in combat. Alternatively, a pair of Noros or Achilles is able to out-armor and out-turn an Interdictor in a duel situation, but escorting units may restrict this possibility. To summarize, an Interdictor is a very powerful and capable dropship, well suited to the role of killing anything that gets in its way. It operates best on its own or in packs of similar craft, like the Achilles. To stop one in a useful time frame requires massive firepower. If you see this ship in combat, be very afraid.